Hello, beautiful humans from around the world. Welcome to the Extreme Monogamy Podcast, where commitment is sexy, monogamy is juicy, and choosing one partner for life is what truly makes you happy. It's time to get inspired by real talks about building a healthy, loving, and committed relationship. Thank you for being here. Enjoy this episode.
So, Adam, if you were going to guide somebody in creating some new neural patterns for how they think about the person that they're with, what would be a good first step?
The perfect first step would be figure out what you appreciate them about the most and then constantly think about it. Like train yourself to constantly think about it. And because of this, you will find those things. Just like when you bought a red car, you suddenly see red cars everywhere. Or if you want a person to do something specific, you see it everywhere. And you do the same thing because you will notice it constantly. Then call it out when they do it. For example, what's something that you love that Isabella does, Charles?
I love the way that she considers me. I love the way that I can tell that she's thinking about me.
Exactly. Isabella, what is something that you absolutely love about Charles? What he does constantly?
The way he looks at me.
What is it kind of looking at you?
Oh my gosh. It's just a kind of look with a combination of care and adoration and like you are just the cutest thing that I want to kiss you and I want to be all over you. I want to love you and I want to make you happy. I want to make you laugh, but I also want to like rip off your clothes and put you like pin you on the wall.
Perfect. Yes, exactly. And when you see this, you think about it. You constantly think about it when, for example, when he's not in a room or when you're next to each other, remind yourself of this, right? And think, oh my God, I love how he looks at me. Or like, oh, I love how much he considers me. And the next time she does it, you actually will see it even more and it will become even more powerful. And you call it out like, awesome, thank you so much for being so considerate. I love this. Or, hey, the way you look at me, I love it, right? Stuff like that, you call it out and you will reinforce it with this. That's the power, because this way you invoke them to do more of the things you love, which makes you love them more, which increases the quality of the relationship constantly. And then over time, you will find even more things that you love about a person and even more things that you can call out. And suddenly it's so much affection and so much affirmation and so much stuff that the other person does that you just absolutely adore. And it makes it easy. And by the way, you said something before I wanted to mention that. You said, like, it's this effort that you want to do it together with somebody. You want to put an effort on purpose. And that's the difference. Yes, because if you truly love a person and if it's meant to be, it works. You want to make it work. It's not like, oh, it works by itself because it's meant to be and you don't have to do anything. It's like you want to put in the effort and it's easy. It feels, or even if it's hard, it's something that you are happy to do because it's a perfect match. And that's how it works, right? Yeah. Because you actually want it. And I feel also that the cheating culture, so many young women nowadays are like, yeah, I have like 5 dudes that I fuck, and like I don't have to be faithful because men are precious anyway and whatnot, right? No, I feel that being faithful is actually very liberating. When I take a look at so many people that I see on the street, so many things, because of my decision matrix in my mind, right? I see so many things that I would get so irritated by. I think like, I'm so blessed to have my wife that I don't have to date today, that I don't have to watch out, that I don't have to sift through hundreds of people and deal with this crap. And if you love a person and it's a really great relationship, then not cheating is something that is easy. Yeah. It is, because it's not a limitation on your freedom if you don't want to do it in the first place.
Exactly.
It's a long tangent, but does this answer your question?
I love that. How does that strike you?
I assume that when a couple couldn't be honest with each other, the source is they couldn't be honest with themselves. So there's a part of yourself that you're trying to hide because you're not proud of the fact that you have these thoughts, or you're not proud of this part of yourself. And you hide that and you seek you seek comfort from other places, and ultimately it's just I just want to I guess I just want to tell everybody out there who feels some sort of guilt, some sort of shame, some sort of anything that they feel like they're not really proud of themselves. It's like, this is why you are in a relationship. It's because that's probably the only place you can be completely transparent and honest. And if you have a true partner, they will not judge you. for what you're going through. And the problem is 100 times worse if you keep it in the shadows. And by you being honest, you are encouraging your partner to be honest with you as well. So you start from a place of being aware of what's going on within yourself and just being honest and sharing that with your partner and not judging what your partner tells you. And you know that you're together and just don't hide anything in the shadows.
That's a very, very wise advice in this case. Yeah, problems don't go away just because you keep silent about them. They don't solve themselves. Yeah. Has any one of you ever been cheated on?
Yeah.
Yep. Want to share?
Do I want to share?
It's okay.
The only other thing that I wanted to contribute from my perspective, and this is kind of circling back to something that you said, Adam, which was early on in my dating and relationship experience, I recognized that I was attracting the experience of cheating into my life. And something that was very clear to me relatively early on was exactly what you said about we don't attract what we want, we attract what we are. And so to me, dating and relationships were always such a great way to gauge where am I at, because I'm getting feedback by the kind of people that I'm attracting into my life. And like friends are kind of its own separate bucket, but dating and the people that I'm wanting romance from, that was always a very clear indicator of really who I am. And so I'm grateful that I had just the awareness that, okay, I don't like this result that I'm getting. That means I need to do something about me. I've noticed the shifts, like, okay, I attracted this. So how do I go back to the well and sort some things out for me so that I can create something that's way better?
That is very smart. Yeah, and that's actually very self-reflected of thinking about it, because there are billions of people out there, and if you attract the only bad apples out of this huge pool, then yeah, subconsciously attracting it. But that's also a good thing, because it means it's you, which means you can change it. You have the control over it. You are not powerless. And that's why I have this huge issue with people saying, oh, that's victim blaming. No, it's a good thing. It's about responsibility. It's the power you have to change it. When I realize something is my fault, awesome. It's just my fault, so I can change it. This is awesome. So you had the same experience and see how you are now. You made a great catch there, right? So
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Have you ever experienced that, Adam? Cheating? Yeah.
Yes, and both ways actually.
Yeah.
Like the first time this happened was like where I was cheated on was with a girlfriend named Eve. She came after Vicky, which was like my first real long relationship. And it was very, very weird because she had a long backstory. She was abused and everything, and I helped her like build up her self-confidence. But basically, she was away with a bunch of boys. She was sleeping at like a youth place where, like, if you don't have a home, we got scammed, both of us, by a really bad lady. And I got her a place where she can sleep until we found an apartment where we can stay. And she was around with a few boys. And I have heard different stories from two sides. But basically, one side told me, I think that was the truth actually, is she basically jumped on the bed and said like, hey, I'm so horny, I wish my boyfriend was here. And they misunderstood that and tried to grab her. And at the beginning, she defended herself a bit, but then she stopped. And basically I said, yeah, because she couldn't really remember things that were like long past, even if it's a week, her memory was fuzzy, like something was off with her there. And then I talked to the boys as well, and they thought I'm coming to beat them up, right? Because I was way older than them and stuff like that. No, guys, seriously, I don't care. You and me, we have no relationship. You don't owe me anything. As far as you're concerned, whatever she did to attract you, whatever, is on her. You did not do anything against me. She's not my property. I just want to know what happened so I can make a decision if I stay with her or not. Right? And they were super surprised and told me the whole truth. And yeah, in fact, she did a little bit of defending herself, and then she stopped pretty much. And how far they got is still a little bit fussy. But yeah, that was that. And in the end, we stayed together for a while after that. But then pretty much after a while, I broke it off. And yeah, the only time I actually cheated was when I had dissociative identity disorder. I still blame it on me, because even if you have multiple parts, it's still you. But it was like when I was together with my first really long-term girlfriend, it was super toxic. She was a narcissist in the like years later. Like I only realized this through therapy a few months ago that she actually was a narcissist. I blamed myself years for that. But basically, what happened is we didn't have sex for a year. And there were multiple reasons for that. But basically, after 1 year, she seduced me, right? And she asked me, like, how was it? Did you like it? I was like, yes, it was awesome. And her response was, oh, that's awesome. I needed this for my ego. This means I still got it. And I like, do you know how hurtful this just was? And we're like, yeah, women are like this. Just deal with it.
Oh,
Yeah, and like, do you notice in the movies when you hear somebody like crack, like mentally stuff like this? That is exactly what happened in a moment.
wow.
Because before that, I even landed in the hospital suddenly with like pain down there, and the doctor took a look at me and is like, "Mr. Ness, do you have a relationship?" I said, yes, I do. Do you have sex? No. Do you masturbate? No, it doesn't really do it for me. Well, I'm not saying I'm prescribing you sex, but I kind of have to, because for some reason, like the semen tubes, they were swollen and full, and he pretty much prescribed me to relieve myself. And the pain was unbearable.
Oh God.
Like everybody got kicked in the nuts at least once, right, Charles? It was 10 times worse than that.
Oh God.
It felt 10 times worse than that. And I would have rather have somebody kick me in the nuts like twice a day than that. It was so bad.
Oh,
And when I told her, she pretty much tried to have sex with me, but she had it with facial expressions of I was raping. I was like, you know what? I'm rather having pain than see that. I don't want that. And then after all that pain, after 1 year, she tells me, yeah, at least I got it. And that was when this crack happened. And I did have dissociative identity disorder starting age 15. And then I overcame it years later. But basically, the problem in this moment, something was off. And then I met this girl, her name was Barbara. Basically, we hit it off from the get-go. We understood each other very, very well. And then on the day of her birthday and my passing the final exam, which also was a huge deal because I had like a heart illness before, and I had to repeat everything. I had to repeat a whole year. So we celebrated because originally I met her, very chaotic storytelling, sorry. Originally I met her while at Burger King while I was in my break and teaching some children a little bit of self-defense. I was like doing 15 different martial arts at the time.
wow.
And she thought I was beating them up and wanted to give me a piece of her mind. And then she realized I was helping them. She said, yeah, I'm sorry that I came onto you like this hard, but like I recently got like violated by 5 guys. And then I saw she had no place on her body except her face. It wasn't green or blue. They drugged her. 5 guys drugged her and beat her up with a belt and completely almost killed her. Right. And I said, you know what? This is never going to happen to you again. I'm going to train you personally. I'm making sure that you never, ever have to go through this. And then we became friends and stuff. Right. And she decided to develop a crush on me, but I did ignore it because I had a girlfriend. Right. And I'm a very faithful person. And then on that day, autism again, she asked me, hey, do you want to come up for a cup of tea? I'm like, I like tea. Of course. Let's continue the conversation. I did not catch the hint at all. And I think then she smoked I'm not sure, but I think she smoked a blunt in her room. I didn't take it, of course, because I don't take drugs. But basically, we had a very deep conversation, and she tried to seduce me for almost 8 hours.
Oof.
Yeah, now you might ask, why did you not just leave? Reason being, after the conversation finished, we realized, wait a minute, it's super late, and I had to work the next day. And if I would have gone home, I would have been too far away to actually be on time with enough rest for the next day. And so I slept at her place. But basically, there was distance between us. And she tried to seduce me for 8 hours, right? After 1 year of sexlessness, by the way. And she said, I don't know what's wrong with you, man. Every other man would just jump on me. I'm like, yeah, but I got a girlfriend and I don't want to do this, right? And we even talked about the relationship that I had. Another advice that I have, don't talk bad about your girlfriend or your wife or your spouse or your husband or your partner to somebody else, especially if the person is trying to seduce you, right? So that's that. But yeah, I pretty much had to get it off my chest, right? I had nobody to talk to about this. And basically, we fell asleep. And in the morning, because of course I told her that my back then girlfriend was only wearing jeans and almost never skirts, I probably have to censor this for YouTube later, but basically what happened is she, in the morning when I woke up, was standing above me in an extremely short dress, so I could see she was wearing nothing under that. And she told me, well, luckily I put my panties on before I went down because like I'm so wet, I thought like my uterus like blasted, like I'm dead wet for you. And like, and like I never heard that kind of seduction before. And I still resisted, by the way. I still did. And then basically she offered me a hand massage, and yeah, of course, why not? Like, it's nothing bad, right? Next advice: don't engage in physical pleasantries with somebody who tries to seduce you if you don't
Physical
want to.
pleasantries.
Yeah. Basically, she started to massage my hand and then put it on her chest and started moaning. And in that moment, what literally happened, I can only describe it as it felt like somebody was kicking me out of my body, and I was literally watching third person as I was sleeping with her. And
Wow.
that was like when I heard the voice. Like, my dissociative identity disorder was very weird. It started first with blackouts, then I remembered things like in fuzzy dreams. Then I could have conversations with the other person, and then after a while it went away and it came back in like times of big need when I thought I wasn't able to handle it, or if I wasn't willing to bear the guilt of things, right? And yeah, like I literally heard like, dude, this is over. Like, your relationship together doesn't work, and I'm gonna take over for you, and I'm gonna put you in a position because otherwise this is never gonna get better. And
Wow.
so yeah, of course, I told my girlfriend that immediately after, and of course it was a problem. She told me, "You don't tell people that you cheated on them if you want the relationship to continue."
Interesting.
Big red flag, right? Yeah, you don't tell people. She said, "Yeah, you only tell people that you cheated if you want to satisfy your own consciousness. It's selfish to say that."
Mm.
That is a weird way to phrase that honesty, right? I told her by myself that I did it to apologize and stuff. And then we separated kinda and tried to like come together kinda again, right? And basically, then one day we decided, okay, we are not really together, but we try to be exclusive anyway to see if we can make it work again. And what happened, I was in tune with that and I realized something's off. I felt that she was cheating on me with a guy that always had a crush on her. And then we met and I asked her, like, hey, I have this feeling that you had something with this guy. And she was like, no, that didn't happen. I'm like, okay, listen. One of three things happened. Number one, he asked you to sleep with him and you said yes. I don't believe that happened. Number two, he asked you to sleep with him and you said, no, I also don't believe that happened. Number three, he asked you to sleep with him. You got to a cafe, talked to him, and then you went with him. And she was like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. They didn't really have sex then because apparently she intimidated him so much they couldn't get hard. So, but
Oh,
yeah, in this specific moment, it was like cheating because we said we will not sleep with another person during that time, even though we're not officially together, and she still tried.
right.
And so that's pretty much my experience with cheating, getting cheated on.
That's wild. The dissociative, we may have to dig into that more some other time
Yeah.
because that, I mean, talk about just an interesting, I don't know if that's self-protective or if
Oh yeah, it
that's
was.
self-upgrading or I mean all combination of, but that's wild.
It was definitely self-protecting. Like, this other part called himself Mo because my full name is Adam Fuad Mohammed Nasser Al-Kindi, and it called itself after the name I was never using, right? Yeah, pretty much that. Because Adam is my first name, Fuad is the name of my father, Muhammad is the name of the prophet. Of course, since I'm not a Muslim, I don't believe in this anymore. Nasser is my last name, and Al-Kindi is the tribe, like it's one of the royal families, Oman. But basically, he took the name that had no attribution, basically. And he later came out when Eve cheated on me with the other boys. And he like literally told her off and scared the shit out of her. Like, listen, you are not talking to Adam right now. My name is Mo. I'm a different personality. And what
Whoa.
I'm seeing you doing with him, I'm not going to let this happen to him. It was a very protective part. In the beginning, it was aggressive, but later it became very protective. I'm like, if you ever do this again, I'm making sure you never see him again. And I will switch when you sleep with him. So you will have cheated on him with me and you will do nothing about that guilt. So if you do anything ever again, I'm making sure he never talks to you again. Stuff like that,
Oh my
right?
God.
Like almost like a very aggressive big brother, kind of. And yeah, the last time that I actually ever saw him or had anything in that manner was after I realized I have to take responsibility for my actions. I cannot always blame it on another part. I want to be an adult or like, I'm still a kid kind of in my heart, but I want to be a person that is responsible for his own actions. And I'm taking all the blame and taking everything. And since then, he never came again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, I
So
think
that's
let's talk more about this. But that is fascinating, Adam. Thank you for sharing that. That is
Thank you
wild.
for listening. Yeah,
Yeah,
now it's like heavy stuff.
that's great.
Yeah. So yeah, that also has a completely different dynamic because when I was together with Eve, Mo wanted to have his own relationships. He wanted to have his own girlfriend, and he was trying to seduce the daughter of the woman who scammed us. He wanted to have at least some fun. He even talked to me about it and talked to Eve about it. Like, I want to have my own fun with another person. Like, dude, we have the same body. That's not how it works, right?
Oh my
Like,
God.
it was, yeah, probably a very interesting case for any psychologist who wants to do a study on that stuff.
Wow.
So yeah,
It gives you
it was super weird.
But a unique perspective, because you're getting like multiple ways of seeing a situation using the same skin, set of bones, whatever you want to call it.
Exactly. And like the personality was super different. Like even the voice changed. My voice is kind of high when I talk, and his voice was super deep. And his mannerisms were different. His posture was different. His walking speed was different. Like everything was different. You could have literally have said it was a different person. One day that was happening when I first developed this kind of condition back then, where I had like full-blown blackouts. I literally couldn't remember parts of my days. And I was in Burger King working, and I recently had a blackout. I didn't know what happened. And this girl comes in like, "Hey, Adam," like, "Who are you? Do I know you?" Like, "Oh, come on. I told you my whole life story. I like bad boys." Like, come on. Like, bad boys? Have you met me? I'm like the opposite of a bad boy. Like, I'm the most soft person you'll ever meet. Like, oh, come on. Don't tease me. Like, literally, I have no clue who you are. Are you playing hard to get? Like, I'm playing nothing. I don't know who you are. What's your name?
God.
It's like, yeah, I'm Nina. And like, who is Nina? I don't know. And apparently Mo took over my body for like half a day or so and like flirted with a random girl, like made her tell him his whole life story and got her to fall in love with him. And then she left like, "Oh yeah, I see, like you're really different than I thought you are." And then next day she came back again because Mo talked to her again, right? It was super weird at this moment.
Holy cow.
Yeah. I'm very happy that this doesn't happen anymore.
Oh my goodness.
bless.
Wow. Wow. I could see the movie already.
Yeah.
From this experience, but holy cow.
Probably a romantic comedy version of Split, right?
I would watch it. That's awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. But yeah, like even when stuff like this happened, I still found it important to take ownership, right? Even if you have a condition that takes control away from you, it's still you. And there's a reason, just as you said, Isabella, before, there's a reason why you have certain things. There's a reason why you do things. And it has to do with how you see yourself. If somebody feels the need to cheat or feels the need to do something that they shouldn't do, then they have an issue with themselves. And that was like literally what happened. So yeah, great call on that. And now I will have a question for you both in this specific case, because when we take a look at these typical podcasts out there, it's often those people say, "Oh yeah, a woman will not find a man attractive if she's in love, but a man can love a woman and still sleep with somebody else." What's your take on that? Like that's a typical Andrew Tate thing. Like Tate always said that. He said like, "I can love a woman with all my heart and still fuck another bitch." That's what he said.
Yeah, I hear that from Tate. He says it's all about sexual market value. A guy's sexual market value goes up by the more women that are attracted to him. So if a guy walks in a room and all of the women throw themselves at him, then his sexual market value goes up. I wanted to say it's bullshit, but I think there's a level of truth in there, but it's totally different from what he's trying to say.
Right observation, wrong conclusion, right?
I think, of course, our attraction is summed up by so many things. For example, you find your partner more attractive if let's say, if he's a good father, if he's a good friend, if he shows up at work with a lot of diligence. And that's all part of what you're attracted to him. That means he has good character, he has good personality. I mean, I get the part when he's saying, you know, if more women are attracted to you, then your value goes up. Like, I see why he would say that, but I think the way he brags about it is what's wrong. Like he has a very macho perspective. I'm the man because I want to actively send out this vibe to attract more women. And the more I do that, the more you should feel lucky to be with me because I get to have all of them. Like, I just think that is so wrong. I don't think anything wrong by being a good person so that you're more attractive to just generally everybody.
Yeah, it depends on what relationship arrangement you have, right? When you say like from the beginning at the get-go, I don't want a fixed monogamous relationship and I want to have multiple people, and if you're okay with it, let's have something, then cool. But just to state it that this is the way things should be is completely wrong. for example, I would like to hear your take on this as well, Charles, then I never have felt attraction to a woman if I was in a relationship. Like I never felt attraction to another woman when I was in a relationship with my girlfriends. Because to me, when you break it down to a very fundamental level, every human is the fucking same. We have 2 arms, women have 2 breasts, they have a vagina. There's just some flashbacks here. And the only difference is how they go about it, what they say, what they do, and what they dress, and what kind of piece of clothing they put on it. And sex, if you break it down, is nothing else than something goes somewhere. There is a repetitive movement, and in the end, there is a hormone blast, and you have a feeling, like an elevated feeling, a dopamine shot, an oxytocin or something. So, in theory, you can get this from absolutely everybody. So it's pretty much exchangeable. And because it is exchangeable, because the bodies are all the fucking same, the difference lies in who the person is. And so when you commit to a specific person for a reason, why would the existence of another moving flashback interest you in any way? It makes no sense to me. Like it's also like, I remember like I once had a conversation with a girl, like she had like a huge chest, and I never looked at it. I always looked at her eyes, and she was like, dude, you're the first man that I talked to for longer than like 20 minutes without taking a look at my tits. Like, why would I? Like, this is just like fat and like skin that tells me nothing about you, but your eyes and how you speak, I get way more about your personality and who you are. So yeah, that's my take on that. Charles, what do you think?
I think it's a choice. It's really interesting to hear your perspective, Adam, because I've actually had similar thoughts. I don't know that I would use the same language, but the physicality of sex, so much of it happens up close. And these things that we say that we're attracted to, we don't have that same visual element when we're up close. I mean, yes, granted, there are certain positions where you're getting like visual, and I get that. But a lot of it is like if you're kissing somebody, you're up close. You're so deep in their personal space that in my mind, and this has come from years of thinking about it, it really becomes about the person. And so like,
yes,
it's exactly what you said. So like, if it is about that person, then maybe when I was younger, there was an importance of like, I want to experience what different women are like. But as I grew in my relational maturity, and I was like, no, what I really want is to be happy. Okay, so what's really going to make me happy? And, determining that for myself. I know this is not everybody's journey, but for me, what I want, what I feel like makes me the happiest is partnership. It's committed partnership. It's going with one person. That is what I want above all else. And I chose that because I was self-aware, and I did the work, and I did the digging to discover that. And so it's easy for me finding somebody who checks my boxes, finding somebody that I know that I can continue to grow and to expand with. It's easy for me to say like, yeah, it's you. Like it's not even a question, because why would I want to do something that is going to have a negative impact on this beautiful thing that we continue to expand on? And I realize that may seem like a radical viewpoint to have, but it's so easy and so natural for me. But when I hear these other things where there's even this element of whatever you want to call it, like I'm in a room and like there's this potential for me sleeping with other women, or there's this perceived idea that because I'm attracting them to me, that now like maybe I will, maybe I like, I don't know if any of that is making sense, but it's just like you can still be attractive and charismatic just by being your natural self. And I think maybe this is just what I want to believe, but I don't know. I just think you can have all that and still be singularly focused, and that can be super hot to the relationship.
Yes. Oh, you're making so much sense, Charles. To the idea that it is a choice gives so much agency in this, because that makes it even more powerful. And yeah, some people have stronger physical urges than others, but the power to say, you know what, I don't care if I have a physical urge or something. I choose a specific person for a very specific set of reasons makes you way more human and way more in control. Also, it shows that you made a choice for a person that fulfills what you want in life. And it's a form of respect that you give that person, like, hey, I only need you. I don't need anybody else. So in this case, we can say like, hey, those dudes who are like fucking 12 different women. You made shitty choices because you can't get one person that fulfills all your needs. Like, why would you, right? And that's exactly that. Bonding with a person and making this thing so special, 10 times better than all the hassle with all that other stuff. Especially when you take a look at this. You two found each other after lots of experiences that you guys made and lots of stuff that you experienced in the past. There is pain, there is growth, there is so much great stuff. And you made the choice to be with each other. And now everything you do together becomes so much better than with anybody else. And I remember my wife asked me one day, what if you find somebody that is just like me? It's like, what do you mean? So yeah, well, let's see, like say she has everything that I do. Like she only wears skirts and dresses, but she has longer hair than me. Like, and? Yeah, but she has longer hair that like fits your matrix more. So like, might be, but that would not erase the memories I made. And also I chose you. Even if, let's say, even if somebody would come up that already has all the things on my decision matrix and like everything just like you, why would I give up the real thing for a copy that I've spent no time with? Why would I give all this up for something that is as good at best? That makes no fucking sense. And even at the potential it being better, I'm not with you because I didn't find something better. I'm with you because I made the choice. You are the best for me, and this is how it's gonna stay. And we work together on this. And that's what you said, right?
Yep. Exactly. That's it exactly.
There's a saying that says relationship means falling in love with the same person over and over again, but for different reasons.
Oh, beautiful.
You don't just fell in love at the point where you decided, okay, I want to marry you or I want to be together. It's a constant choice to choose to be with your partner every single day. It's a constant falling in love process. Why? Because people change. You might think I'm married to my partner for 20 years. I know him. Like I know I can finish his sentence before he even speaks. I know his choices. I know he likes cereal over, pancakes. I know all of it. Therefore, there's no mystery. There's nothing I'm curious about. And I think that is one of the biggest ways to destroy a relationship is when you think you know your partner. Because when we fall in love, like, why do we fall in love? Because we're constantly discovering each other. We're finding new things about each other that we're sharing. We're finding new things. We find intrigue by how they work, what they think. I want to know more about you because I find how you think about things interesting. So I think we need to constantly keep that curiosity about our partners.
That actually reminds me of something an ex-girlfriend actually said to me. She said she cannot be in love with somebody she knows. And all her relationships broke off after 2 years. She didn't know why, big mystery. She only starts relationships with people she doesn't know and gets to know them in the relationship. And then when she knows them, it's too boring. And that makes no sense at all because a relationship should make you better. It should fortify you for life. And yeah, I'd rather have somebody that I know inside and out so I don't have to worry when the next crisis is going to come and the person's maybe going to backstab me. Rather, together you face life, and together you explore life together. That is also a way of intrigue and mystery. Even if there's nothing new to discover about your partner, you can do this. And in the end, there is always, if you see it like this, there's always something new to discover about your partner. Because ideally, both of you develop over time. And if after 20 years you're still the same person, you failed life, I think. So therefore, being able to understand that your partner will change and growing together as a couple is a beautiful thing. So yeah, thank you for bringing it up. You're 100% correct about that.
Yeah. Awesome.
Fantastic. So guys, any final words before we wrap it up for today?
I love all of this talk about how we're distinguishing what relationships and commitment mean to us. And I love the synergy here between the three of us. I think that there's a lot of our experiences are not the same, but we've come to similar general conclusions, which I think are wonderful. But beyond that, and I loved what you said earlier, Adam, about like, yes, I found the right one. Now, how do I maintain and grow it? How do we continue to grow this within the container of commitment and just continuing to love on and adore each other? This whole conversation has been awesome, and I'm super excited to just go from here. It's really fun.
Hell yeah. That was really fucking amazing.
So if you're listening to this episode, I just want you to know that you may have been hurt before. You may have lost hope in having a relationship that's so fulfilling, that you just feel so loved. And I know that there's still a part of you that believes that this could be the case. So whether you're single or you're in a relationship, believe in that ideal that you have, because love is so good and so sweet and so juicy and so supportive and so everything you've ever wanted can be true. It is true, and you can make it happen. You have the ability to make your dream come true. And it doesn't just exist in Hollywood movies. I believe fairy tales can be real. And I believe that I can be the princess who lives happily ever after with a hot stud.
Well said.
Yeah.
Very well said.
Very well said.
It is there waiting for you.
Absolutely. 100%. Charles, Isabella, it was an absolute pleasure.
Yes.
Everybody who listened to this, again, this has been the Extreme Middle Podcast, where you get common sense without an agenda. We hope to see you in the next episode. Make sure to like, to follow, to subscribe, to comment below. Let's start a great discussion and conversation. And yeah, we'll see you next week.